Hello everyone, you are watching News Mongolia on MNB World. It's Wednesday, December 6th. I'm Batsirin Namshar. Our top stories for News Mongolia. President of Mongolia calls for global collaboration at a high-level meeting of LLDCs. The Democratic Party of Mongolia introduced a comprehensive gender policy. Kharakorum International Film Festival to take place from December 7th to 12th. For the news, stay tuned. President Harum of Mongolia, a participant at the World Climate Action Summit of the United Nations Climate Change Conference COP28 in Dubai, emphasized the critical importance of global collaboration in combating climate change during his address at a high-level meeting of landlocked developing countries.
In his speech, President Harum underscored the pressing need for intensified efforts in the global fight against climate change, considering the current trend of the hottest years since industrialization. He drew attention to the rampant natural disasters, including fires, droughts, and floods worldwide, which have inflicted significant damage on the environment and human society. Mongolia, according to President Harum, is committed to increasing its national contribution to global initiatives against climate change, desertification, and global warming. The country has undertaken various actions such as implementing national campaigns like 1 billion trees, food supply security, and healthy Mongolians. Additionally, Mongolia is actively involved in international initiatives, including the establishment of a group of LLDCs under the World Trade Organization and the International Civil Aviation Organization.
We need evidence-based research to address the unique challenges of climate change in landlocked developing countries. That is why our country established an international think tank for landlocked developing countries based in Ulaanbaatar, developed and strengthened it to become an independent international intergovernmental institution, and through this organization has been making a valuable contribution to the policy development of landlocked developing countries.
President Harum highlighted upcoming initiatives such as plans to host the World Women's Conference to address women's participation and leadership in combating climate change and the 17th Conference of the Parties to the United Nations Convention on Desertification in 2026.
The highlight of the meetings was the renewable energy transition, and some countries even discussed green hydrogen energy.
In conclusion, the President emphasized the paramount importance of unity, mutual understanding, partnership, cooperation, bold decisions, and persistent efforts among landlocked countries. He expressed his confidence that through collective actions, the landlocked countries can overcome challenges successfully, implement set goals, and achieve sustainable development in the face of climate vulnerabilities.
In a significant move towards fostering gender equality within its ranks, the Democratic Party of Mongolia has introduced a comprehensive gender policy. This initiative reflects the party's commitment to addressing historical imbalances in political representation.
Historical data reveals gradual but insufficient progress in gender parity within Mongolian politics. From 1996 to 2000, the Mongolian parliament saw only 6 female members from Democratic Party of Mongolia, highlighting the need for transformative measures to enhance women's participation in political process.
To solve many emerging issues that we face in our society, there should be engagement from all parties. That's why we are working to support the political engagement of female leaders and politicians.
We understand that the gender quota stated in the law is just the minimum requirement. Our women are well prepared for leadership and political positions. There is a lot of independent research and many surveys have been conducted. The recent amendment to the election law mandates that at least 30% of candidates must be female. This legal framework aims to create a more inclusive political landscape by ensuring adequate representation for women. However, the Democratic Party of Mongolia has taken a distinctive stance, expressing its commitment to go beyond the mandated 30%. While the new law sets a baseline for gender diversity, the Democratic Party emphasizes the importance of evaluating the results and outcomes rather than being restricted to a specific percentage. This approach signals a dedication to not only meet but potentially exceed the mandated quota, demonstrating the party's proactive efforts in fostering a more inclusive political environment.
The inaugural Kharakorum International Film Festival is set to captivate audiences from December 7th to 12th. This cinematic extravaganza will bring together a diverse array of domestic and international filmmakers for a unique celebration of the art of filmmaking.
The festival's thematic focus on human rights and freedom adds a compelling dimension to the cinematic experience, reflecting a commitment to exploring impactful storytelling that resonates with social issues. Drawing inspiration from renowned festivals such as Venice, Busan, and Berlin, the Kharakorum International Film Festival aims to create a platform for meaningful conversations through the medium of film. With participation from 15 countries and staggering 22 categories, the festival promises a rich and diverse selection of films that span many genres and cultures. A total of 45 films will be displayed, showcasing the depth of storytelling and filmmaking talent from around the world. One of the highlights of the event is the competitive section, where 14 films hailing from 9 different countries will vie for prestigious award. The competitive element adds an exciting edge to the festival as filmmakers showcase their creativity and prowess in storytelling on an international stage. We are planning to organize this festival annually, adhering to international standards. We expect our festival will attract international filmmakers and promote Mongolia on the international stage.
We have specifically chosen films that tell stories on human rights.
As the Kharakorum International Film Festival unfolds, attendees can anticipate a cinematic journey that transcends borders, embraces diversity, and amplifies the voices of filmmakers committed to pushing the boundaries of artistic expression. The festival promises not only a celebration of cinema, but also an exploration of the powerful narratives that shape our understanding of human rights and freedom.
Now let's take a look at the currency exchange rates provided by Mongol Bank. Now let's take a look at international news from our partner agencies. Negotiators at the COP28 summit have produced a new draft of what's expected to be the core document of the talks. The first global stocktake on climate looks at what's happened since the 2015 Paris Climate Agreement, how off track it is, and probably what's needed to get back on track.
So far, the stocktake has so many possibilities in its 24 pages that it doesn't give too much of a hint of what will be agreed upon when the session ends in Dubai next week. What is clear is that whatever is adopted has to be agreed on by consensus, so it has to be near unanimous. The CEO of COP28, Adnan Amin, told the Associated Press on Tuesday that the stocktake looked set to provide a very good basis for moving forward.
This is not a normal COP. This is the first time we have a global stocktake on the table. This is a COP which there is tremendous public scrutiny about what's happening and public interest in what's happening. I don't think anybody is going to be playing games, and the GST, the global stocktake, is unprecedented. We are actually pioneering what it's going to look like. There's no other COP decision that looks like this. There's no other COP process that looks like this. So we're going to have our work cut out. There's a lot of work to do. There's a lot of heavy lifting to do. So I think the room for that kind of positioning is not really there. There has to be substantive engagement and progress that has to be demonstrated. We need to be aligned with the 1.5 target, keeping 1.5 within reach. That we've articulated as the principal objective of this conference. To do that, there's going to have to be substantial progress on reducing emissions and creating a trajectory of decarbonization that brings us to alignment with 1.5 by 2030. We have 7 years to do this. So either we can stay mired in debates about language, or we can find practical ways to get this done, and to have a language that everybody can agree to, everybody becomes part of, and embarks on a very ambitious decarbonization pathway.
Before the Paris deal, scientists at Climate Action Tracker and the United Nations Environment Programme were projecting about 3.5 degrees Celsius or 6.3 degrees Fahrenheit of warming over pre-industrial levels. Their prediction was based on how much carbon dioxide countries were spewing and what they planned to do about it. The Paris Agreement committed to keeping warming to the 1.5 degrees or 2.7 degrees limit, and Amin acknowledged that substantial progress was needed on reducing emissions and decarbonization to reach that limit by 2030.
On Tuesday, a senior Israeli commander says the army forces being engaged in the heaviest day of fighting since the start of the ground war in Gaza. It came as the Israeli army also said its troops were engaged in ground combat inside Han Yunis in southern Gaza.
Mourners on Tuesday attended the funeral for an Israeli soldier killed during the military operation in the Gaza Strip. The funeral for Yakiri Didyar Shinkalovsky took place in the Israeli settlement of Kfar Etzion in the West Bank.
We will miss you every Sabbath evening. We will miss your messages in the group. And every time we will gather, we will sense your absence. Your place is saved with us.
You have a big, forgiving heart that moves on from the things that would have broken anyone else. You didn't know how to hold a grudge, even when you should have. I didn't tell you this enough, but I love you. Friends and relatives paid tribute to the 21-year-old from Migdalos, a sergeant in the 188th Armored Brigade's 53rd Battalion. More than 80 soldiers have been killed since Israel began its ground invasion in response to the Hamas attack on October 7th.
Now let's take a look at the weather forecast for the world's major cities. Well, that's all for today. Thank you for staying with us. We'll see you on Thursday with more news and updates. Goodbye.